Drew's contribution to the club. You've got a few veterans there. How are you managing these guys? And can you tell us a bit about Drew as a footballer and as a man?
Drew's really been, he's personified what North Melbourne's about. He's, like a few other players, to be honest. It sounds like I'm repeating myself with a lot of milestones having come up over the last year or so, and a few to come still. The veterans who are around our club take their responsibility to leave a legacy for our football club really seriously, and Drew's just been the quintessential North Melbourne person. He's a fierce competitor on field, but he's an absolute gentleman and great family man off the field. So he's exactly what we want from a North Melbourne person: a fierce competitor, but a really grounded and humble person off the field.
He was very appreciative last night that you'd settled him down in the one spot. Did you sort of recognise that pretty early, that that's where you needed him to play his footy for you?
I certainly thought that was the best thing for Drew, but overriding that with every decision we make, it was about what was best for the football club. Drew had been, fits in with the way he is. I mean, wherever North Melbourne had a problem on field, Drew Petrie went there and tried to fix it. So, and that's great when you're a strong team competing in finals, but when you're trying to develop a young team, we needed to settle the team down, and I felt for Drew, who'd been Mr. Fix-It, he was going to serve the team best by playing as our key forward, and fortunately we've been able to keep him there ever since, and I think in my opinion he's only got better since 2009.
Drew had, it's an interesting month. Sorry, if you want to go on with Drew. It's an interesting month coming up. You've got the Saints and Carlton, St Kilda, and a big match against the Swans. So what's the plan to sort of get through that month, not get ahead of yourselves, I suppose?
Just week to week. It's the challenge that presents. That's the focus of the football club. And St Kilda have been terrific through this pre-season. I thought they were great round one against Port Adelaide. They really had a dominant performance against Collingwood and Melbourne, and they ran the reigning premier to 3 points, and a lot of people would have said they were quite rightly very unlucky to lose that game. So I think their best is very, very good, and that's where our focus is. I mean, it does sound cliche, but the reality is that any team these days can come out and surprise you. So our focus is on St Kilda. Our focus has been on what they do really well, and that in itself is going to be enough of a challenge to stop the boys thinking about what's to come.
Drew felt there was a bit of a trial by media with Lindsay Thomas. Did you have that same sort of feel, Brad?
No, I think the media have got a job to do. I mean, they report the news. And that was news, so it got reported. But there's no doubt that Lindsay Thomas is paying for sins of the past. I mean, did we consider challenging the decision? I mean, yes, we did. We felt it was a tackle gone wrong, correctly paid as a free kick. The umpire clearly thought it wasn't reportable. The MRP did, but we're pretty clear of the view that if we challenged it, we would have lost because it was Lindsay Thomas. So that's what Lindsay's got to deal with. I'm really focused with Lindsay on his improvement over the last 6 or 7 years. He's transformed himself from being a pretty inconsistent small forward to a really solid contributor each week. He still lets himself down every now and then, but our football club, and me in particular, are going to make sure that we support him all the way through. So the MRP have made their decision. Bottom line is we've accepted it, so we move on.
Brad, were you disappointed the Bulldogs, by Marcus Bontempelli, made public comment on it before it had gone before the panel?
It's not for me to really answer. I mean, to answer the question, I don't concern myself what other people say about us. We're focused on what we need to do. I think that's, if it is an issue, it's for the Bulldogs and the AFL to deal with, not for me to deal with. So, as I said, if we had an issue with it, we would have said something. If we had an issue with the MRP's decision, we would have challenged it.
Do you think some people look at the old Lindsay Thomas as opposed to the new Lindsay Thomas though, in the industry as well?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Lindsay's an antagonistic small forward who puts himself in a position where sometimes he gets free kicks, sometimes he doesn't. I can completely understand opposition supporters and some commentators who maybe don't analyse the game very well or very closely having one view on him. I have a very, very different view, and our football club has a very different view. He is an outstanding ambassador for our club. If you'd seen a young Lindsay Thomas in 2009 not being able to make eye contact with people he spoke to now leading Indigenous programs where he presents in front of groups of 80 plus people, he's made a significant transformation. But people have got long memories, and Lindsay understands that. He's paying for sins of the past and probably will continue to in the future, but we'll just focus on his present.
Do you, just with academies and AFL clubs forming alliances with TRC Cup scenarios, have you got a thought on that, Brad?
I haven't. I haven't delved deeply enough into that. I mean, we've got a lot of people who are charged with the responsibilities of the academies, but my simple view is that we've got a responsibility as a game to develop talent, and the AFL feel that academies are a really strong way to do that. They've also instituted measures to I suppose to force clubs to pay fair value for the talent they develop. They still get a discount, mind you, but I think that's the issue at heart. Everyone's interest in the game is to develop talent right around the country, and I suppose the big issue comes is what is fair value in the price you've got to pay for that talent. And the AFL will continue to evolve, and I think they've got to look at what is fair value, and that will change, and the AFL are entitled to change it if they see fit.
Is Nahas the logical replacement for Lindsay this week?
He's one of the potential replacements. We'll elevate him off the rookie list so that we've got that option, as we did with Farron Ray a few weeks ago. Does that mean he's going to play? We're still not sure yet. I mean, we've got a number of guys in the VFL who are really putting their hand up, and so, like we always do, we'll pick the 22 that we think gives us the best chance to win the game. But I think that the options we've got are slightly different structurally. So if it's like for like, yeah, it's probably Robin. But if we go with the slightly different structure, then there are 5 or 6 guys who are putting their hand up.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, everyone.
Beautiful.
Cheers.